Hey you guys, so I wanted to share this dream that I actually just woke up from, and it really is not meant to have any kind of message or, type of edifying sermon attached to it. I just figured I would share it so that it could be a blessing to whoever the Lord wants it to be a blessing to. It was actually a dream I just woke up from, because I just woke up from a little nap, and it was about a relative of mine, but Jesus had actually manifested himself in the dream, and I just figured I would just share it because it just blessed me. But I've been for some reason I've just been having these back-to-back kind of like see behind the veil kind of dreams, which I do have them often. It's not the first time I've had dreams like that, but I've noticed like I've been having a kind of consistent ones like back to back lately for whatever reason. So in this particular dream, which was very, very short, I was in a maybe like a mall type setting. May have been a mall, may have not been one. I'm sorry, I'm still like kind of waking up a little bit. But it was just a large like open setting, very similar to a mall, like a Houston Galleria type thing, and it was just like a lot of people around. And this relative in particular, which is no disrespect to her, I actually just shared the dream with her, but I just wanted to share it to be a blessing to other people. But I was there, and I understood that she was dead in the dream. And this was one of those spiritual monitoring dreams, which I've been having like so many of them lately. Like I don't really know where they're coming from, but it was definitely one of those things to where it felt like a reality in the dream. Like it was an understanding and a certain type of truth in the dream, but in real life, like obviously it's not true because she's not dead in real life. I haven't had any like warnings or anything like that, about her. Like, excuse that background. Like, let me try to like block that. I'm sorry, that is so gross. But yeah, I did, however, pray for them recently in person. I prayed over them. I anointed them. So I don't know if that has something to do with the dream, but in the dream, I understood that she was dead, and it was like she had been dead for like some time, maybe like a few weeks to a month or something. And when I saw her, she was just kind of with me, like in terms of like an attachment. Like I wasn't startled by it or anything. I wasn't disturbed or thrown off. It just felt like in the dream there was an understanding that she was, she was past, like she had been for a while. So, and she was just kind of sitting next to me. I understood that she was like an attachment, and although she was with me just in like very normal terms in this mall type of setting, I understood that she was in a different realm. Like she was in some type of limbo that was like an in-between of like the natural realm and like wherever she was supposed to be. She was just kind of like lingering around, but like I said, it didn't startle me or anything. I wasn't questioning why. The dream just kind of started off like, it was just me and her in the mall setting. And you know how when you watch like certain hell testimonies or heaven testimonies, and the people that Jesus took there, they say how they didn't really have certain knowledge that they had on earth. Like they may have not known how they got there, or they may have not even known that it was an actual visit because the Lord wanted them to have the experience to be like a real one. Well, in the dream, for some reason I wasn't questioning how she died or like how long she'd been gone. Like it was just like an understanding. And like I said, I was not startled. She didn't feel or look like a dead person next to me. It just looked like, my relative. So yeah, she was just with me, and she was just kind of quiet. Like she was just lingering around like an attachment. She felt like the way somebody would feel if they had just passed not too long ago, and they were just kind of still just lingering around for like a brief time, which that does happen. I've watched a lot of near-death experiences. People have come back and they've, shared their near-death experiences or hell testimonies, and they do confess to either they themselves experienced after death that they didn't immediately cross over to heaven or hell, or they knew people who were trying to contact them in the spirit realm. before they actually went where they were supposed to go. So she kind of felt like she was like in that space. However she was able to do it, she was just kind of remaining like attached to me. Now, when it comes to me personally, my thoughts when I was waking up, I said, I wonder if that could be because like I'm probably the most spiritually sensitive one in the family. I'm not sure. Or I feel like sometimes when people cross over, there's certain spiritual knowledge or acuteness that they may have of certain people in the family who may genuinely be in the Lord, or they could just be connected or attached to them for other reasons. You know, like I've heard a lot of different stories and testimonies like that as well, like how people just automatically know to go to their wife after they pass, or they just automatically, there's like a cord or some type of attachment, they just automatically go to this place or to this person. But it was just me. She was just kind of like attached to me. So that's one thing I was wondering, like I wonder if that could have been because maybe she knew that I was probably the actual genuine, like, you know, most spiritually mature, not mature, spiritually sensitive one in the family in terms of like relation. Because you gotta think, you know, people can have a lot of religious, like, you know, relatives that go to church, or, you know, people that are church folk that call themselves Christians. And I'm not saying this to gloat. I'm just trying to like share my like opinions and my ideas of why I think the dream was kind of showing what it was. But I would imagine that when somebody passes, it just made me think about how most people with NDEs, they always say like they knew why they were there. They had a knowledge, you know, in the spirit realm when they were outside of their body that they did not have, you know, in their normal like awake life. So I don't know if that was just like something to her, like she, like maybe God probably just had her attached to me after she passed, because I probably in her life would be the one that actually has the genuine connection, the genuine link to God, maybe. Or maybe in her mind, I would imagine if somebody had passed or they had crossed over in that type of way, if they were thinking about who could help them, they probably would have just gone to the first person that came to their mind. And I'm like, maybe that's why she was like, I really don't know. Because I don't necessarily have like an intimate, close, like interpersonal relationship with them in real life, but she had passed. I knew that she had been dead for maybe, just felt like she was around for some time. So I don't know how she was able to like stay in this limbo kind of space. She wasn't really crossing over to where she was, but I knew that she had passed. So I say like a month. Like it wasn't like a long time, but it wasn't completely fresh either. But she was just kind of like next to me. She was attached to me. And like I said, I wasn't startled by it in the dream. It wasn't like a surprise to me. And for some reason, like the Lord didn't have my knowledge, you know, as to like how she passed or when she passed or like where she was. Like I just wasn't questioning things like that. So there came a point where I turned to her and I just kind of playfully asked her, I said, so how's heaven? You know, I'm like, you know, I just assumed like, you know, she's with the Lord. Once again, I don't know why. I would have assumed that I'm just, you know, I have a genuine love in my heart for my loved one. So I guess maybe in my heart, I don't know if I just wanted to believe that or just assume, I don't know. So I just kind of playfully asked her, I said, so how's heaven been? How has it been on your end? You know, because what I was thinking about when I said it was my dad passed the day after my birthday 2 years ago, back in 2023. And there was a period where I was genuinely seeking the Lord, and I was asking him to reveal to me where my dad had gone, because I knew I could handle the answer. I didn't have a close relationship with my father or anything, but I just wanted to know. And oh my God, did y'all see that? The devil is a liar. I know these lips are luscious, but you cannot just be resting on that is so disturbing. But usually the Lord gets back to me and he answers me very quickly with stuff. But I noticed that when it came to me like seeking him about my dad, he didn't really like answer right away for whatever reason. But he did eventually. And he ended up confirming to me through multiple dreams that my father was in fact with him. So that let me know like he obviously genuinely repented and gave his life to the Lord in his final moments because of how he passed. My dad had got into a really bad accident at work. He fell from a certain height at work, and he cracked his skull, so he would have been like a vegetable for the rest of his life if he had actually like stayed the way they were trying to coach us to, to care for him. But he didn't end up passing shortly after, switching hospitals in Houston. And I got those confirmations from the Lord through a dream that he was, in fact, with the Lord. My dad had attended his own funeral. He was very much alive and well. And me and my sister in the dream, we were like the only ones who could actually see my dad. Nobody else could see him. And the Lord did it that way intentionally, because it was very comparable to the passage, I think, in John about Jesus' personal resurrection and the few disciples who were able to see the Lord. And it was kind of like a replay of that. So my dad was like still himself. He still had his personality. He just looked like very fresh and just very like, livened up. And I had other signs and confirmations that Jesus gave me as well. So I was very happy. So my dad is really the only relative I know that is without a doubt actually with the Lord. It's because I asked him. I don't know where anybody else is. I can't say where they are. I just know where my dad is because I actually asked and prayed about it. So in the dream with this relative, when I asked her that, I was just kind of, I guess, like in that same headspace, like, oh, well, I have a peace because the Lord told me that my father was with him, so I just assumed that she was. And when I asked her that, she looked at me, and I could tell by the look on her face, she wasn't with the Lord. She wasn't, obviously she wasn't really in heaven or hell, because I could feel that even though she was with me, she wasn't in my realm. Like, I knew that I was the only one that could see her in the mall, whatever this space was that me and her were in. But she looked at me, and she just, I'm trying to describe what this look was. The look revealed to me that she had been exposed to a place that she knew was hell, but I could tell that she didn't go to like the center point. She wasn't like in the actual heart of hell. Where she had been exposed to was maybe like entry level, like a cave or something, maybe like a dark cavern type of like setting. And I know that when she saw that and when she was exposed to it, she knew what it was deep down. Now, I don't know how she wasn't able to cross over. I don't know why she didn't fully go.